All right. Ooh. Feeling good?
Never felt better.
Nothing, just our regular speaking voices for today.
Welcome to home, everybody.
Welcome back to your home, the Island Shuffle.
It's Christmas time.
And my name's Bean.
And my name's James.
And it's Christmas time.
It's Christmas time in paradise.
So we want to say to you, first of all, Merry Christmas, one and all.
Uh-huh.
And to all, a tree full of presents.
Happy New Year, baby.
Happy New Year, baby.
I'm buying us the boat this year.
This is the year that James Brown is going to buy all of us, you, me, and every listener, a boat. And so that's, I
the
think...
gravy boat.
A
Big gravy boat we've been admiring in the store. Every week we walk by the window. They have that beautiful gravy boat in
and we say, well, that sure would fit all our gravy nice.
Yeah.
It would make distributing our Christmas gravy so much easier if we had one of these gravy boats. Instead, we scald ourselves by scooping it up with our hands.
Up with our hands, which is, I mean, and my hands, don't get me wrong, they're freakishly scoop-like.
Yeah, we've all got, you, me, and our entire family has scoop-like hands, which is great for scooping. Saves $1 million on spoons.
Totally. I can't use a phone,
but we can scoop like nobody's business.
Scoop, but we haven't yet evolved to the point where our hands are heat resistant.
No, unfortunately not. We've tried many solutions. We tried wearing oven mitts. The gravy just soaks right through.
It soaks right through. We tried rubber gloves. Not very heat protective.
No, and makes the gravy taste like rubber.
Totally.
So
I coated my hands in wax before. That sort of worked.
That sounds like our best solution yet, but also expensive.
Yeah.
More expensive.
My wax bill was,
Yeah.
And I already had a pretty big wax bill to begin with all the envelopes I'm sealing.
All the money we're saving on spoons is being doubly indebted by our wax bill at this point. So I think
all of the money that we're saving on spoons. You'll never buy a spoon again. Scoop with your hands.
Spoon makers hate them. This one family developed an evolutionary trick.
Simple trick.
This one simple trick of evolving your hands to become scoops.
Yeah. I heard another technique where you just take the bowl and put it to your mouth.
Yeah, that's, we've tried that. Burns the whole mouth.
Burns the whole mouth.
I feel like
that's
a lot
why
of
you need to touch it with your hand first to have some idea of how hot things are.
I feel like a lot of our problems would be set if we just let the gravy cool a bit.
Yeah, but then I need hot gravy for my mashed potatoes.
That's true. That's true. Well, speaking of mashed potatoes. We watched an episode of Lost this week, as we do every week. And we watched it in a random order, and, random.org tells us what to do, and we are beholden to its wills and whims.
Yeah, God's will.
That's, honestly, when Drake wrote the song called God's Plan, he was talking about random.org and the order it chooses Lost for us.
I thought that was called God's Plant, and it was about weed.
Oh, I think that's the beautiful thing about art is you can interpret it how you want, and nobody's right and nobody's wrong.
Totally. I'll hit the bong to that.
I'll hit the bong to that. Like I always say, like we always say on this podcast, I'll hit the bong to that.
So we watched a season 2 episode. Season 2 episode 18.
Correct.
It was about Hurley.
It was about Hurley, and it was called Dave. Who the heck is Dave, you're wondering? We've never met a character named Dave before. We've been watching
We'll never meet a character named Dave again either.
85 episodes in, and we're being introduced to the character of Dave.
And boy, is he bald.
I would not call him the baldest character on the show, but he definitely cracks the top 5.
Totally, top 5 bald. And that includes...
We got Locke. We
Locke,
got the guy...
obviously.
The guy who son has an affair with.
He's probably the baldest character on the show.
I think he is bar none the baldest.
So this guy is the third baldest character on the show, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But he might be balder than Locke because in alternate worlds, Locke has hair.
That's true. We've seen Locke with hair, and he rocks it.
He rocked the Locke.
And even in his bald state, he's got a little bit of stubble.
Totally. He's got the remnants of... a head.
Remnants of a head.
Yeah.
My favorite new metal
band. But this
band.
man is very bald.
This man is pretty damn bald. Do you want to start with the flashbacks? I feel like that would make the most sense.
Flashbacks are fun.
The flashbacks deal with Hurley's time in the Santa Rosa mental health clinic.
And boy, was he unhappy.
He was unhappy. He's going to see a psychiatrist named Dr. Brooks. Is that right?
Dr. Butt.
Dr. Butt. Dr. Butt. That's such a cool, ruthless own.
Yeah. Ruthless. Yeah. I'm not letting up.
Honestly, Dr. Brooks deserves it.
Yeah. Dr. fucking Cooks meth. That's what I think of him.
That's honestly borderline libelous, but
yeah,
but it's such a sick roast. I can't help but. So who's
slander's more my style.
I love going to your comedy sets and just having you just accuse people baselessly. People in your life.
You're the murderer. You're the murderer. You're the murderer. Someone's eventually gonna, someone has killed someone.
I would. This is great. I love how your comedy sets are actually undercover sting operations to weed the murderers out of our community.
I feel like murderers found out pretty quickly not to come to my show.
Yeah, I think it worked for a while.
Yeah, it worked. Those first couple shows, I was just rounding them up.
Murderers love to go to the local stand-up comedy show.
This one simple trick that murderers hate.
Murderers hate him. This one stand-up comedian figured out how to
Murderers everywhere don't want you to know this one simple thing.
Of accuse them. Accuse them in a public forum.
Yeah. It's just like how if you ask a cop if they're a cop, they have to say yes.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask a murderer if they're a murderer, they have to say yes.
That's true. I mean, I don't know why, seems like trials should just be a no-brainer.
Totally. It's easy.
It's easy. Just ask them, dummy.
I think trial by fire should be more of a thing.
It should. Elaborate on that. Please.
I was in court the other day and it was really cold, so I wanted to light a big fire in the middle of the room. Heat it up,
I feel like there's more effective solutions to this problem. But you know what? I've never been to court, so
yeah,
I think I'll leave this to your judgment.
You don't know what court's like.
I really don't know what court's like. In my head, courts are like freezers.
Oh my god.
There's meat in the corner that
what
they
is
keep
a court?
cold.
Like 900 milliliters?
Hey, in Ontario they call them 2 4s, I think.
2 6s.
Or maybe I'm mixing that up. I always forget the difference between Ontario measurements and East Coast measurements. It's fine.
2 4s. Welcome to the Island Shuffle.
Welcome to the Island Shuffle, where we talk about...
Dave is bald.
Dave is bald, and Hurley is his friend. Hurley has a visit with his doctor, and the doctor's like, did you do your homework like we talked about? And Hurley's like, well, Dave didn't do his homework. Dave thinks it's a crock of shit, doctor. All due respect, but Dave thinks you're a big fucking faker. And the doctor's like, well, we've talked about Dave. Dave's a bad influence. And Hurley's like, Dave's the only normal one here, dude. So so Hurley goes to a basketball game. And right away, we should say that this is the first episode to really kind of delve into Hurley's mental health struggles.
Yeah, totally.
And I think it does better than other episodes where the person suffering from mental health is depicted as still full and a whole character and in control, instead of just doing sad voice and asking questions all the time.
Yeah.
Like how Faraday was.
I can't hear anything.
I don't know.
My brain hurts.
I don't remember.
That was his thing. He doesn't remember.
I look at a piano and I don't remember.
That'd be a good song.
I look at a piano and I don't remember. Yeah. That's my favorite Coldplay lyric.
He's doing all these things and he never remembers, but then at the end of the song he remembers.
Mm-hmm. He goes,
and it goes, I look at you and I remember.
Yo, now that's a Coldplay song.
Yeah.
Get Chris Martin on the phone and say, here's $1 million check for me, please.
$1 million check for me, you A loser wannabe. Get out of here. You ripped off Charlie Pace.
This is how ghostwriting works, right? You give them lyrics and then roast them, and then say, "Give me $1 million."
Ghostwriting is whenever you write a TV show for ghosts.
That's true.
And then the ghosts, it's like you don't know if it gets made because we can't see ghosts.
That's true. It's
but
always
it might.
It's very. How creatively fulfilling would that be? Knowing that someone's enjoying it, but you could never unless you became
Schrodinger's
a ghost yourself.
show. It both did and did not get made.
Damn. Fuck. Would you become a ghost so that you could see ghost shows? Would that be worth it?
Yeah. I want to become a ghost just so because I like hot peppers and ghost peppers are like the hottest ones. So I wonder if ghosts have like uneven hotter pepper where they're like
forbidden pepper.
Yeah, like the spirits that have been cut up into a million pieces pepper.
Oh my god. That must be a spicy one.
Yeah, that's a spicy pea.
That's a spicy pea. That's that's gotta be one of the spiciest peas there is.
Yeah, that is. Put a little dollop of mustard on that pea because that pea is too spicy for me. I need something to cool it down.
If you become a ghost and a ghost offers you this ungodly spicy pepper, and you have it and you say, "Oh no, this is beyond spicy. I can't handle this." They're going to make fun of you. They're going to say, "Look at this loser.
New guy on the block.
New guy on the block can't handle what to us is a casual pepper."
Yeah, we of Ghost Town.
We of Ghost Town
have been consuming this pepper for generations.
And to us, it's normal spicy.
To us, this is the reg.
And to newcomers, it is obscenely spicy. This is what we call comedy. The idea of ghosts eating a pepper that's too spicy
with a spicy pepper, and then they make fun of new ghosts because the pepper is really spicy. But like after a while, you get used to it, and it's not that spicy anymore.
It just becomes not that spicy. To ghosts, it's not that spicy.
It's like when you give a kid a drink, and they're like, "Yo, the beer is so bad," but then 20 years later, can't get it out of his hand.
Oh. That's a 1-to-1 comparison. Starting drinking too early is exactly like getting used to a really spicy pepper.
You gotta wait till you're 12.
I'm learning a lot about the way you see the world today.
Sit through me glasses.
Oh man. Well, you know how Hurley sees the world.
No. Tell me, please.
He sees the world. Okay, so we got very distracted. I was trying to talk about how this show handles mental health, and this episode is better than most, but also it's still set in a cartoon version of a mental health clinic.
Totally.
Where like all the background people are like hobbling around.
They move in weird ways.
They're wearing bathrobes and stuff.
They can't really talk.
It's very One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest,
Yeah.
like ass shit. Like nurses are handing out little like
pills all the time.
Pills and like cupcake holders.
Those ketchup things.
Yeah, those ketchup things. Exactly. It's incredibly that. So yeah, Hurley goes to the basketball game and everybody has funny mental health. So everybody,
no one can play basketball.
One of them's not even dribbling. And Dave's there, and Dave is just like screaming.
He just yells at people and calls them stupid.
He says these dumbasses don't even know how to play basketball. Yeah. And he gets mad at them, like, actually.
And Hurley, like, walks in the middle of the thing and is like, "Dave, my doctor said you're bad."
And Dave's like, "You're going to listen to that, bozo? Listen, here's what I think you should listen to. It's Taco Tuesday, baby. We're going to get tacos.
We're getting tacos, my guy.
We're getting tacos." And Hurley's like, "That sounds fun. Let's go get some tacos."
And they do, but we don't frickin' see it.
The tacos are implied.
Yeah,
honestly,
tacos are implied.
Show don't tell.
I really hope in the questions it asks us whether they really had tacos.
Are the tacos real? Who knows? Then we get a scene of Hurley playing Connect 4 with Leonard, who is the man who is repeating the numbers. He's He's repeating to himself, muttering to himself, 4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42. And Leonard, and once again, Dave is just roasting this man with a mental illness.
Yeah, he can't really say anything else, and Dave is just, He's like the Sawyer of the mental institution.
But like even meaner.
Yeah.
Because like at least Sawyer barbs people who can like fight back.
Well, and also it's like Sawyer, I think, benefits from he has like this slick Southern charm, and
Yes.
Dave sort of has the charm of like a low-level employee in a cubicle.
Yeah, Dave is very like went to open mic once.
Yeah, totally.
And
Whereas Sawyer is the king of the open mic.
oh my God, Sawyer goes to the open mic and gets a standing ovation every time.
Yes, he puts the ovation in ovation pin mic.
Ovation pin mic.
Yeah, that's what the O stands for.
And the PEN just stands for pen.
For pen. He writes all his jokes with a pen.
Of course. Ovation for the ovations you get. Pen for writing down the jokes. And mic for what you talk into. And also the man who came up with it.
The man who came up with it. Mike
O.
Mike O. For ovation again.
Again.
Time is a flat circle.
It really, everything's connected and it all makes sense if you ask me. So
they eat tacos but we don't look at that.
Hurley eats a stick of celery and Dave is like, "You're eating celery now, man? What the heck's the deal?
You eat some bad stuff.
Eat something bad. Eat some friggin' tacos. Steal one of Leonard's crackers. He won't notice." Nurse comes around and gives out some medication. Dr. Brooks comes by and says like, "Hey guys, nice to see you. Nice to see you, Hurley. Nice to see you, Dave. I'm taking everybody's picture, and I'm here to take your picture. So get together and take a picture for me." And he takes a picture. And while they're taking a picture, Dave does like one of these devil horns and says like "awesome" instead of cheese or
yeah, because he's like a little bit of I guess he worships the devil.
He's a bit of
indicates
he's a bit of a bad boy and a Satanist.
He's been
also
to an AC/DC show.
He goes to rock and roll concerts and he enjoys how loud it is.
Did you ever see? Do you know what AC/DC stands for?
Automatic current, direct current.
Against Christ, Devil's Child.
That's way sicker than my thing.
I had a person tell me that. I had an adult tell me that while I was a child.
AC/DC is probably one of the worst bands of all time. We were listening to them the other night, and like we were just kind of like couldn't believe it.
I love it. I think I like how it's just like it just is what rock and roll is.
It really like is just like you can have your like all butt rock strives to be as butt as AC/DC.
Totally. Yeah. They are the butt of butt rock.
They are. Yeah. They put the butt in butt rock.
Did you ever hear the song Big Balls?
I have.
Yeah.
That's a funny one.
Yeah,
it's
that's a funny one.
It's about how he throws like a big ball, like a gala for all the fancy people.
Totally. He loves big balls.
But then if you think about it, you could also read it as another way, which is the nuts of your balls.
Totally. Like testicles.
He loves big balls.
Yeah.
And I think that's just comedy. It's not quite Ghost Pepper comedy, but
yeah. But it's like it's a early version.
Yeah.
It's like how cavemen, whenever they would tell jokes, they weren't very funny yet.
Exactly. They would just be like, "What if rock was food?" and they're like, people didn't get it. People were like, "Rock's not food, man.
Rock's not food, you idiot.
Meat is food, bozo."
And then one of them was like, "Big balls." And people were like, "Yeah." And then AC/DC, that's how AC/DC was formed.
That's true.
Honestly, AC/DC sort of look like cavemen.
They sure do, don't they?
Yeah.
You ever heard the song "Play Ball" by AC/DC?
No.
It's deeply upsetting.
Wow, I only know one ball song by AC/DC. Apparently the wrong one.
No, I think you know the right one. Anyways, that's our AC/DC critique hour.
Yeah. Now that we got that out of the way.
Finally, every week we come together to critique AC/DC, and then we just also happen to watch an episode of Lost as
we
well.
need something else to carry us along.
Yeah, we realized there wasn't enough to talk about with AC/DC, but with Lost, we can go on and on and on.
And boy, so Hurley did something else. He got his photo taken.
Yes.
Then I guess he goes to see old murdering Brooks again.
He goes to see the murdering meth dealer Brooks and says, he's kind of starts to open up a bit and says like, he talks about the reason that he came to the hospital in the first place.
Yeah.
Which is that there was an accident.
There was an accident.
Hurley stepped onto a deck where 23 people were.
Yeah.
The deck collapsed, and a couple people died.
2 people died.
2 people died. And when Hurley came out, he was in an effectively catatonic state.
Yeah.
He stopped sleeping. He stopped, talking to people. He stopped going out. But he didn't stop eating.
Didn't stop eating. He still ate a lot.
He still ate a lot. And so his mother ended up checking him into this hospital, and, he's been making progress. He's, talking to the doctor, for instance, talking to other patients. He's, getting better. And so Brooks is kind of like trying to work through it with him and being like, listen, you have to stop holding yourself responsible for this accident. It's not your fault. It didn't happen because, it didn't happen because of your weight. And Hurley says, it did happen because of my weight. And also, listen up. Dave's right about you. You are a quack. You're a jerk and a fool and a fraud.
And an asshole.
And an asshole jerk.
Penis head.
While Brooks is like fully just like doing his job of trying to help him cope with his like trauma.
He's doing a good job too.
Yeah, that asshole.
Honestly, Brooks, for a drug lord, surprisingly decent psychologist.
I mean, people are multifaceted.
Yeah, people are.
Mm-hmm.
And this man's 2 facets are both going on full blast. Faucets.
Incredible drug dealer.
And
an incredible psychologist.
Yeah,
psychiatrist.
Great at his 2 passions.
His 2 passions. You don't often get to pursue both your passions.
No.
But Dr. Brooks honestly made it work.
Yeah.
And so Dr. Brooks hits him with the big bomb. He says, listen, I'm going to show you something. You're not going to like it. Here's that pic I took earlier today. And you're going to notice something weird about it. Dave isn't there. Because Dave isn't real. Ba, ba, ba.
Wow.
Bam. So in addition to, I guess this establishes that Hurley doesn't just have depression and guilt. He also is having unspecified
psychotic
hallucinations. Yeah, psychotic breaks, I guess.
And then the song, I'm not crazy, I'm just a little unwell, I know. Right now you can't tell. It goes on.
It goes on. That plays for the rest of the episode in a loop. Eternally.
In a loop. Just that part.
Which is a bold move, but it's, I think it adds a lot.
Otherwise, why even watch the show?
What's the point of watching a show if there's not a loop of your favorite song?
I'm not crazy, I'm just a little unwell.
Playing right when the twist drops.
Now you can't tell.
And then not stopping for the rest of the episode and continuing outside of the episode even when it stops and playing all the time.
Do you know who sings that song?
I don't.
Me neither.
Well, I think there's no way of knowing. If you don't know it and I don't know it,
write us, people.
If anybody
but don't look it up. You don't Google it. Write us your best guess.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess a man named Tom Bryant.
I'm gonna guess. My guess is probably way off base. I'm gonna guess Our Lady Peace.
Our Lady Peace.
I don't think that's right at all, but I'm gonna go. That's where I'm gonna lay my chips.
Change mine to Hootie and the Blowfish.
That's fantastic. What's do they have an? I'm not gonna talk about Hootie and the Blowfish.
April Wine.
Now that I like. Now that's good. Anyways, if you've got any guesses, please do send them to us. Our contact information will be at the end of the episode, so you can send us all of that. So Hurley is grappling with his break from reality, and he's saying, "Uh-oh," and he gets woken up in the middle of the night by none other than Dave. He says, "Listen,
Dave.
Let's break out of here. Let's go break out of this joint and go get some cheeseburgers or something." And
that is literally his suggestion. He says, "Let's go get cheeseburgers."
Mm-hmm. And Hurley says, "You're not real." And Dave slaps him in response. And Hurley says,
"Seems real."
Hurley's like, "Well, maybe I imagined that slap." And Dave just slaps him again and says, "We can do it all night." And it's a funny thing. It's funny to slap.
Yeah.
Funny slap.
I like it.
Hurley somehow has stolen the keys from Dr. Brooks and uses it to escape, open the window, and Dave climbs out and says, "All right, let's go. You coming, buddy, or what?"
Come on, bud.
And Hurley says, "You're not real. I know you're not real because you say you want cheeseburgers, but that's just because I want cheeseburgers."
Yes.
I'm gonna
thinking.
Good. Honestly, brilliant rational logic. And he says goodbye, Dave. Locks up the door. And that's that. He says goodbye to Dave.
Goodbye, little asshole boy.
Little weird asshole who roasts all the people in the mental hospital.
Yeah. And he never sees Dave again.
He never sees Dave again, and that's all we know about Dave.
Does he?
Bump, bump, bump. Well, on the island. On the island, Hurley and Libby are friends.
Yeah, they're best friends.
They're BFFs, and
they run together.
They go for a jog, and Hurley's having a tired time.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, this stinks. I'm too big.
This stinks. I'm all sweaty." And and Libby's like, "Well, listen, it's a process. You're not going to see results right away, but we'll get there." And Hurley kind of says, "All right, I gotta come clean to you, Libby," and takes Libby to the jungle and says, "Look, back when we first found the hatch, they put me in charge of all the food that was in there, and I decided to give it all away. But really, I didn't give it all away. I hid some of it away.
So much of it.
I still kept a whole lot of it, and I've been sneaking it away, sneaking out here for bites and munches.
I come out here and I eat.
To cope." That's one thing about this episode is that I was definitely bracing myself for a lot of Hurley funny eat, Hurley big and funny eat.
Yeah.
But it takes Hurley's weight problem pretty seriously actually.
Yeah.
Which is a nice change of pace.
It's cool because they never have taken it.
No,
seriously
it's literally every other time. It's always a punchline.
Yeah.
It's always funny Hurley
But here Hurley's
food.
this is difficult.
Yeah.
And it's I don't want to be here.
I do it to cope with trauma.
Yeah.
It's pretty it's
real.
I don't think it's flawless at all, but it's definitely step up from just a funny punchline.
Jokes.
Yeah, a funny
jokes about fat man.
Yeah, exactly. So here's what happens, and it's really wild. Hurley's just you know what? I come out to the stash, and I just feel like the stash has a hold on me, and I just wish I could get rid of it. And Libby very sweetly and with the best of intentions says, "So get rid of it. What's stopping you from just getting rid of it?" And Hurley says, "Wow, you're right." And so
there's a montage of them throwing out food.
Opening up cans and just throwing it all over the place.
And they're on a deserted island.
Yeah, there's a limit of, give it away again.
There's 70 people all trying to eat. Locke kills a boar every day, and Hurley and Libby are out here in the middle of nowhere going, "What? Throw it away, the food. It's bad.
Throw it away. Nobody needs this food. We must get rid of it because Hurley."
It's so fucking stupid.
It's pretty ridiculous.
It makes me so mad.
And it's very kind of it's "Oh, we're having a silly time. We're throwing Cheerios on the leaves. Ah ha ha." And it's what? This is so wasteful.
Yeah. But then they do it, and Hurley's like, "Oh, I feel really good, actually. That really made me feel great." And then Libby's like, "Why don't we look into each other's eyes longingly?"
And then Jin and Sun come along and say, "Stop that, guys. They found something over here.
We found something 4 feet away from you.
We found something 4 feet away from you. What are you guys getting up to? Never mind that. Come check this out." And off they go. And what do they see? But
so much food.
So much more food that somehow has been airdropped into the island town. And everybody's like, "Wow, more food." And everybody's just kind of grabbing and hollering at it. And Hugo's immediately starting to panic and stress out and be like, "Man, not again." And then he looks in the crowd, and who does he see?
Who does he? Sawyer?
He does see Sawyer.
Oh, he sees Dave.
He sees Dave staring at him.
Dave, his old buddy, old pal from the institution.
Yes, and Hurley goes, "Uh-oh," and starts to chase after him.
Uh-huh.
Before this happens, there's a funny everybody's kind of trying to sort. It's very chaotic. Everybody's yelling at each other, and everybody's like, "We should try to sort something out." And then Libby's like, "Well, we're all adults. We can just. I'm sure we can take what we need." And then Sawyer hits him with the big roast, which I wrote down in word for
very
word.
Good line.
It's good. He hits Libby with "Oh, great plan, Moonbeam. After that, we can sing Kumbaya and do Trust Falls."
Beautiful. Oops. Libby suggests we share.
And Sawyer just fucking on site.
Yeah, he's like, "Stupid hippie asshole lady."
Hippie bullshit trying to keep me away from my Dharma brand Cheerios.
Yeah, exactly. Or trying to just allow everyone to just take some food. Because there's so much food.
There's so much food. Yeah. Anyways, Hurley goes to chase Dave. Hurley ends up tripping and falling, but takes a slipper. Dave has left
Dave
behind.
has left his slipper.
Also,
Dave
Dave
is a bit of a Cinderella figure here.
Yeah, exactly. And he's dressed in a bathrobe and
Yep.
like just like Cinderella was, dressed in PJs.
Cinderella in her bathrobe.
So Hurley's sitting on the beach, admiring the slipper, and Libby comes over and is like, "Wow, that was pretty weird. That after you destroyed your stash, another pile of food comes up. That's pretty fucked up, huh? That's pretty weird." Anyways, who'd you run after? And Hurley's just kind of like, "I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, don't talk to me anymore.
I don't want to talk about it, and there's no point in even talking about it." And so, gosh, I kind of forget the exact order of operations here.
And does he go see Sawyer?
I don't think he goes to see Sawyer just yet. I think he goes to we have one more interaction with he has one more chase with Dave where Funny Dave threw a funny rock at Hurley and Hurley pulls the "You're not real, you're not here," and Dave again hits him and Hurley says "Owie." And Hurley chases him and then chases him and lands right where Charlie and Echo are building a church. And Dave is like, "Did you guys see a man in a bathrobe running by?" And Charlie hits him with the "Didn't see that, but I did see a polar bear and rollerblades with a mango."
Funny boy.
Funny.
Charlie is a funny boy wearing bell bottoms.
Charlie lands a funny joke for once in his life.
For the only time in his life. The second funniest joke in Charlie's life is when he dies.
I also want to highlight another very funny Charlie moment that happens that almost got away from me. And we see him in the scramble for the food drop, and he picks up a piece of food and goes, "Risotto, nice."
So weird.
He's like, "What are you doing?"
He's weird.
He's a
weird guy.
Loves risotto and loves to roast his friend Hurley also.
Weird little boy.
So Hurley goes to visit Sawyer, and Sawyer's trying to open up an Oreo.
Yeah. And he can't do it.
He can't do it. He breaks it.
You gotta twist.
He says, "Gotta twist it." Hurley comes along and roasts his Oreo skills, and then Hurley says, "Listen, I need some medicine if you've got it. I need clonazepam. It's for if you're hallucinating." And Sawyer's just kind of like, "What do you need that for? I don't think I've ever heard of that." I forget what triggers Hurley into doing this exactly.
Sawyer asks what it's for, and Hurley's like, "It's for if you're have a lot of anxiety problems or if you see things that aren't supposed to be there."
Mm-hmm.
And Sawyer's like, "What do you see?" And then Hurley's like, "I see this weird bald guy. But I know he's not really here."
Mm-hmm.
And then Sawyer goes, "Who's that guy over there?"
Oh, yeah.
And then he points to nothing, and Hurley looks, and then Sawyer laughs at him.
Yeah, Sawyer laughs and says, "Gotcha." And then Hurley snaps. Hurley just fucking
he kicks the shit out of Sawyer.
He tackles him into his tent and just is kicking the shit out of him.
It's awesome. It's 30 seconds of Hurley beating Sawyer up.
Jin and Sun are watching from the side, and Sun motions to Jin do something.
Stop
and Jin's like, "It's fine."
He's laughing.
Jin's laughing.
Which is really great.
It's really good. And Jin eventually does,
he stops Hurley.
He stops Hurley. But it's a good scene to see.
Yeah. Hurley does sort of kick the shit out of Sawyer.
Mm-hmm. It's good. But then Sawyer gets off and says, "You're crazy, man. You're crazy." And Hurley says, "I'm not crazy. I'm just a little unwell."
I know right now you can't tell. This song was written by Tobey Maguire.
Cool of him to say that while the song was still playing from before.
This song was written by Tobey Maguire.
And it was released in the year of our Lord 1996, and I'm not crazy.
I'm just a little unwell.
I know right now you can't tell.
I'm looking it up.
Don't. You can't. You're breaking the law.
No one is going to contact us. Maybe they will. I don't know.
Who knows? Someone's gotta.
All right, I won't do it then.
Okay. For the bit.
I almost looked it up.
Oh my god. I saw your phone going.
I know.
And I had a near heart attack.
Yeah.
God. So Hurley says, "Enough's enough. I'm taking my stuff. I'm taking a big jar of peanut butter, and I'm going to live in the woods." And Libby says, "Listen, you can talk to me about it. You can open up to me.
Bud.
You can trust me, Hurley." And Hurley says, Nobody
Me and my
can.
peanut butter are leaving.
Me and my peanut butter are leaving, and nobody can help me. I'm fundamentally broken, which is sad.
Then he goes to the woods and tries to eat peanut butter. But it falls and breaks.
It falls and breaks.
He eats the peanut butter off the ground like a dog.
He scoops it up with a leaf and then eats it. So this is the one, like, Hurley do a funny big eat. And
it's a rock bottom scenario.
It is, yeah. And then right as he's rock bottom, who shows up?
David.
Dave, of course.
The third baldest man in this show.
And he shows up and he says, all right, I know you're freaking out. I know you're panicking, but listen. Listen to what I have to say. Remember that night where you closed off where you left me outside the window and then you locked it up? And Hurley says, yeah, I remember. I realized you were imaginary. It was a big breakthrough for me. And shortly after that, I got my old job back. I won the lottery, and, here we are today. And Dave says, well, that's all great. That's all wonderful. But here's the thing, Hurley. None of that is real. When you shut me off of that was the final straw, and you went even more insane, actually.
You idiot.
You're still in the Santa Rosa clinic, and all this has been imaginary. And Hurley's like, that sounds fake as hell.
Stupid.
But he hits him with a few points of proof. He says, listen, you won the lottery? Yeah? What number did you play? Yeah, you played Leonard's number. Isn't that right? Oh, and it won you a bunch of money. Isn't that, what a coincidence. And where else did you see the numbers? Oh, on the side of the hatch on the island. Oh, yeah. That's a perfectly normal thing that happens in real life all the time. It's clearly the product of your delusional mind.
Yeah.
And Hurley starts to kind of go, oh, my God, I'm wacky.
Oh, my God, I'm wacky. It's really a pretty uninspired performance by Hurley in this one.
Being faced with the prospect of unreality, Hurley says, well, I guess I'm wacky.
I've gone wacky again. Get me Dr. Peanut Butter and the blueberry parsnips.
We talk this as much as this episode does a pretty good job of dealing with struggling mental health. This is a faux pas, I'd argue.
I'm wacky.
I'm wacky as a way to cope with your psychotic break from reality. Apparently,
yeah,
you're apparent comatose. Yeah. So this is all. Also, this is like a very kind of silly way to. Well, I'll save that for the end, I think.
All right.
So, Dave also hits him with one more bit of trivia, of fun time trivia, which is, well, listen, you're so sure this is real? Well, how do you explain this? How do you explain the hot chick who magically shows up and is in love with you? That could never happen in real life.
Yeah.
And that's that's where it kind of cuts to the bone of Hurley's insecurities.
And it's like, oh, no. And that's where Hurley's like, it isn't real, is it? This is all fake.
And Dave says, all right, come with me. I've got one more thing to show you. And while they're walking, we get a funny little tidbit. We get Hurley saying, like, oh, so you were real the whole time? And Dave says, like, well, the one in the hospital, I was real. And you know what? I bet the real Dave is out there bouncing from hot chick to hot chick.
And it's like, what?
What?
The man in the bathrobe who's mean to everything?
Whose only known trait is meanness and wanting to give Hurley food.
Yeah. So what do you do for a living, Dave? I make fun of people with mental health issues. Last place of residence, the psych ward.
I
broke out though. Don't worry.
Irresistible. Very, very self-aggrandizing of Hurley's imaginary friend. But then Hurley's like, but I'm, of course, I'm just the part of you that wants to wake up, man. And so Dave, I'm gonna say, content warning for suicidal imagery coming up because it gets pretty intense. So maybe skip ahead a couple minutes if you're not interested in hearing that. Dave brings Hurley to a cliff and says, "This is it. This is how we wake you up. You're going to jump off of this cliff, and then you'll be back in it. And then this is the only way to snap you back into real life." And Hurley says, "I don't want to kill myself. That's not gonna solve anything." And Dave's like, "None of it's real, man. listen.
He'll wake up.
Wake up, baby. And then Dave falls off the cliff laughing.
It's
and
crazy.
It's
quite a dramatic picture.
It's very intense. And Hurley's there on the cliff's edge like, damn, maybe it's time to go.
Yeah.
Maybe let's do it. Thankfully, Libby comes through.
Libby shows up and she says, "Stop! What are you doing?"
And Hurley says, "I'm not. None of this is real. None of this is real at all. It's too fake. And you're not real. I just invented you because there's no way in real life a girl like you would be interested in me." And then Libby comes through with a big monologue about like, all right, well, if I'm not real, then there was a man when I crashed here, a man with a broken leg who I helped fix. What was his name? Oh, you don't know because it didn't happen to you. It happened to me. I buried him, Hugo. I buried a lot of people. So don't tell me that wasn't real because that's insulting.
Fair. Good work, Libby.
And
Hurley doesn't jump off the cliff.
Mm-hmm. And Hurley, he has the, did you see me with a slipper earlier today? No. And Libby ends up saying, well, if all this is real, then explain this, and gives him a big kiss. And Hurley says, better do that again just to be sure that this is real.
Happy now, smooching a lady.
Smooching a lady, happy.
It was pretty close to not being alive anymore, but instead he's having the time of his life now.
He's got literally talked back from the brink of suicide. Yeah. And then Hurley kind of goes off with Libby, and they have a good time. And Hurley's like, what a good time.
Yeah.
But then we get one more twist of a flashback. We see the photograph scene.
Oh, yeah.
We see a Hurley wrapping his arm around an empty chair, and then zoom out, and who's watching this scene from a table across the way? It's Libby. She was also in the psych ward.
So, which is weird and never really addressed.
It's an interesting twist because it makes you go, what's up with Libby's backstory? And then you remember, oh, Libby dies in like 2 episodes.
Yeah, Libby dies. We don't find out. So all we know about Libby's backstory is that she spends half her time in a psych ward and half her time in a coffee shop giving away boats.
Giving away boats to the nearest stranger who's nice to her.
Who needs it for love.
It's whoever hits me with the biggest story of true love gets a free boat.
And you know what? That's like pretty much it for this episode. There's really no side plots.
There's one.
Wait, there's one side plot.
There's one very small side plot. Where
there's a boy.
There's a boy
trapped. There's a boy trapped in a room.
A boy trapped in a room, and that boy grew up to be Benjamin Linus. I think the gang has just found out that he's not Henry Gale.
Yeah.
The gang has just found out.
They know he's something. They know he's an other, but they don't know anything more than that.
They don't know much more than that. There's 2 pivotal scenes in here. One of them is Saeed interrogating Ben and trying to get answers out of him, and being like, if you don't tell me how many of you are there, what is your purpose? When did you kill Henry? And Ben's like, I don't know. I don't know anything. I'm just a pawn, and I don't know.
It's a boy trapped in a room.
Saeed goes off on this one. Saeed ends up fucking like pointing a gun to Ben's head and saying, I'm going to count to 3 if you don't answer my question. 1, 2, 3. And he pulls the trigger.
It's lit. Ana Lucia hits his hand right at the last second.
So the bullet misses and no harm is done.
But he was going to execute.
He was actually about to just execute this prisoner who admittedly is a genocidal murderer. Yeah. But yo, Saeed.
It was like shoot in the head from point blank.
From point blank.
Mostly out of frustration too.
It feels like normally Saeed is very cool and collected.
Totally.
So it felt a little out of character.
Yeah.
He always comes through with I know. Listen, we have to think long term and have.
Yeah, he's
ideas.
very smart and strategic.
But I guess he's just too pissed off.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. And then Locke comes through and says, I've earned 5 minutes with this guy.
Somehow. I don't know how.
And so they let him talk to him, and he says, Why'd you come back and help me when I was trapped here? And Ben says, listen, I went through the vents, and when the alarm was going off, I didn't push the button when the alarm went off. And you know what happened? Nothing. The timer reset back to 108, and it was all hunky-dory. And obviously he's just fucking with there's a really funny line where Locke is like, you're lying. And Ben says, I'm done lying, which is
which is crazy.
Ultimate lie.
Yeah, that is the ultimate
the
lie.
lie to end all lies.
The lie to begin all lies.
Truly. Oh, man. There's fun little scenes, but, like, the meat of the story is
Hurley's journey.
And, yeah, a couple things to cap that off. It's, like, very clearly playing with, like, a common, like, theory that's always floating around that, like, they're going to end with a cop-out, and the cop-out is going to be it's all in someone's mind.
Totally, yeah.
And so this is kind of cheeky way
It's all in someone's mind.
Yeah, it's all in someone's mind, and then kind of dismissing that as absurd.
Yeah.
But, like, also the episode itself is, like, pretty good.
Yeah, it's
generally.
not bad.
It keeps...
I enjoyed watching it.
As, like, a self-contained thing, it's pretty, like... I'm not going to say fun, because it does have, like, intense... Like, it's... I feel like most of the mental health stuff, like, while, like, not amazing, does, like, the sense of, like, imposter syndrome that Hurley has is very, like, is treated as, like, real and, like, definitely as a relatable ass, like,
totally.
feeling.
Yeah. And Dave is a cool character.
Yeah, Dave's, like...
I like the mean guy.
They did a great job casting, like, a weird little asshole for one weird little asshole gremlin in Hurley's mind who's just
it's pretty
mean. That's one of the more memorable one-off characters. I am H.O. So here's a question for you. Do you think there are any questions left behind by this show at all?
I think there might be 1 or 2 or 4.
Well, let's take a look, and
I think they might ask, what was Libby doing in the hospital, and then there won't be an answer to that question.
Oh, are you ready for some ambiguous? Because I definitely am going to tell you that there's probably an ambiguous.
I'm hoping for a self-implied as well.
Oh,
or just implied.
Oh, man, I sure hope so. I sure hope that something is implied by itself. Oh, yeah. Here's a question for you. Why would Dharma want to prevent the Swan inhabitants, the Swan being the hatch where the button is, why would they want to prevent the Swan inhabitants from seeing the food drops?
No idea.
Unclear.
Oh, my God.
And then a whole bunch of nonsense. It may have been to discourage the Swan inhabitants from trying to contact the planes through the radio prior to the use of drones. Sure. And then retconned information, : It seems the writer may have at one time intended that Dharma was concealing a secret method of how the food supplies were delivered. However, the final canonical answer renders this explanation implausible. So.
Okay.
Great.
Weird.
Why did Hurley have a depressive eating disorder even before the deck collapse?
I don't know, because his dad abandoned him?
Because his dad abandoned him.
Yeah.
Literally, that's the exact answer they give.
And, like, gave him a chocolate bar or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's absolutely it. Who is the other's leader that, quote, Henry is referring to?
Ben or Jacob?
While Henry himself is later revealed to be the leader, it seems he is actually alluding to Jacob, whose authority he serves under. However, he is embellishing the insinuations of Jacob's unforgiving character, whom he has never actually met.
Idiot.
Oh, gosh. Did Henry push the button or not?
Yeah.
He did push the button. He claimed that he didn't in order to toy with Locke. He seems to feel particularly threatened by the island healing Locke's paralysis.
Wow.
Which is great to think. Okay, so here's the big one. Why was Libby in the Santa Rosa Mental Institute?
We don't know.
I want to hear your theory on this. First of all.
Her husband died.
Yes.
And then she went crazy.
True. Interestingly, they don't have they don't hit this with an ambiguous or an unresolved. They've got a whole.
So they know.
Apparently, they know. This was unresolved on screen. However, it is known
off screen.
It is
the actor was making a whole world
off screen. They thought out loud really hard and said, "Wow." It is known that Libby had been affected by the death of her husband. The writers later confirmed that this drove her to the mental hospital. Her life in the Flash Sideways, the alternate timeline, seems to suggest that she had developed, quote, issues with reality and had submitted herself to the facility. Disputed canon has weaved all of these details together as the official explanation.
What is disputed canon?
That's a great question, and only Lost Encyclopedia has that answer, I guess.
That's crazy.
There's more. According to the writers, The plan for Libby's story was to be told through other characters' flashbacks, culminating in freighter characters' flashbacks in Season 4. However, due to the writer's strike, this plan had to be pushed back to Season 5, by which time actress Cynthia Watros was not available to portray Libby again.
Interesting.
Which I would have liked to see.
Yeah, that could have been cool.
So I'm going to just... that's a nice full course meal of some questions and some bullshit. Why don't we round that out with a nice little self-implied?
Oh, my God.
A nice little self-implied palate cleanser. What was the nature of Hurley's visions of Dave?
Well, self-implied food, I guess?
I guess so, yeah. As stated in the episode, Dave was a hallucination produced by Hurley's own imagination. The writers later stated that Dave was subconsciously produced by his unresolved issues with his father, who is named David, which I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
I think I just see Cheech Marin and I go, oh, that's Cheech Marin.
Yeah, it is Cheech Marin.
I'm like,
it's
holy...
not David, it's Cheech.
It's Cheech. You can tell me it's David. It's Cheech. Come on. Cheech gave birth to Hurley.
Cheech gave birth to Hurley.
He
blasted him out.
Thank you, Cheech. According to the writers, while Dave was at times a figment of Hurley's imagination, he may have also been at times an apparition, possibly alluding to the monster. Don't believe that for a second.
I hate that.
That's fine. So like that's another thing is like we later find out. So this episode treats like her like it's not like it is very like cartoon ass like, oh, I'm a crazy and I'm a seeing things.
Yeah.
Like it's still like a very for all like how much better it is at other episodes, it's still pretty fucking like baseline. Even like the Hurley seeing things later becomes like we later learn that Hurley can actually for real talk to dead people and he's not having psychotic breaks.
Totally. Yeah.
Which like I don't know.
So what is real, what is fake? They don't know.
They don't know. This is very clearly as a self-contained thing where it's like, what if it's all in his mind? It's like fine.
Yeah.
But like it gets rendered extra weird when you take that like they're like want to be like
when they go back on it. Like,
yeah, when
2
they
years later.
He doesn't have mental health problems. He can talk to the dead for real.
And it's like that sucks.
Yeah, way to like undo like even a like small amount of good you did. Well.
It was fine.
It was still
fine.
fine.
Episode.
Still a fine
Not a bad
episode.
episode.
I enjoyed it. From top to bottom, I did have a good time.
Do you want to watch another?
I would love to watch one more episode of my favorite television show.
Well, I already went on random.org and did 1 to 60.
Yes?
And the number I got tells me we might watch a bad episode of Lost next.
Interesting.
I got number 52.
52. Wow.
So we're pretty far into that's pretty far into it, eh?
Yeah, that is a season 6 episode. So that's season 6, episode 5, The Lighthouse. Or just Lighthouse, I think. And it's a Jack episode.
Okay.
So
if it's a Jack episode, I'm happy with that.
It'll probably be good, I bet. It'll probably be super good and we'll enjoy to watch it.
Yeah, they did good on that season.
Classic season that we love and we love to see and watch.
Best for last.
Best
for
lost.
Best
for last, best for lost. That's what we always say. Thank you for listening to our silly little show about goofs and japes and Lost in our favorite show. If you like it, then tell your friends.
Yeah, tell them all.
Tell them all about our cool little podcast. I've been Bean. You can follow me on Twitter at Barrier Trio.
I've been James. You can find me on the internet at James Brown Nut Space, which I just updated.
You were just in Reader's Digest,
yeah,
were you
you
not?
can find me in this month's edition of Reader's Digest Canada on page 57.
It's true. You're there and your face is there, too.
My face is there and my joke.
You got what a joke. I'm not going to spoil the joke.
Yeah, we won't. I already sold it to Reader's Digest.
They have the rights to it now.
They have I can't tell it on stage anymore.
No, of course not.
No, I can. I think I still own the joke.
I hope so. Imagine you tell the joke on stage and then immediately the Reader's Digest SWAT team bursts in and arrests you.
Yeah, they come down. They're like, nope. And then they use my joke and make a bunch of money off of it.
The most profitable Reader's Digest episode ever. Episode. You can follow the show at facebook.com/theislandshuffle or twitter.com @islandshuffle. We would also like to give a shout out to Noisepace.xyz, the generous podcast network that hosts us. Tons of great podcasts there. And they're all really good, like Jergin It, City Girls Make Do, My Pod Cabbages, Tuning Fork, all kinds of wonderful stuff on that sweet little network full of good podcasts and great vibes. So, with that, we can finally say goodbye to the episode, Dave, goodbye to this episode of the Island Shuffle, and to you, the viewers, we say what we say at the end of every episode.
you tell me to make a sound and I'll try it.
All right, sounds good. Can you make the sound that Jim Carrey makes in The Mask?
Smoking.
Wow, that sounded just like Jim Carrey in The Mask.